closer to that, and we just wanted to see him map control.
Yeah.
And just like maximizing to try and get to the Cataclysm plus AM late game, but that's not been the case at all.
I mean, my thinking is just Nigma, especially with the Midas Invoker build, they could have been a lot slower and a lot more focused on their team's macro. Yes, you'd prefer Animage to take the stacks, but Mind Control could have cleared him in 8 minutes, and they could have had a fresh stack for LTW. Perhaps his Battle Fury just a bit off timing, and he'll sweep up all that gold from the jungle, but they're still behind, and I don't know if they really have the late game advantage they think they have.
Really want to be able to catch Seb here. Oh, Mind Control really off with the blink there. I'm not sure if they would have killed Seb anyway, but still, a bit of a missed initiation for Nigma, and now OG looking to be able to finish off this mid tower. If they go on Sumail, they're ready to be able to respond. Mind Control's going to jump forward immediately. The Manta is going to be popped. Let's go. Mind Control's going to be frozen down while Thompson's trying to go for the backline heroes, but GH stealing the actual step is going to be able to get away from Thompson. Thompson overcommitting himself now. He's going to be left behind as it simulates, but it's not good enough. The damage over time is going to lead him to die. Meanwhile, Mind Control is creating a bunch of space, leading into a 1-for-1 trade-off.
Gotta say, I think I've seen this out of him in a couple of pubs, but this is my first match where I get to witness the Thompson Echo Saber Deso Void Spirit in all of its glory. Treads. Is it good?
I think so. I've seen, I've watched Thompson do it once or twice. It does mean that Void Spirit actually scales into the game, which was something that we were, I think, a little bit worried about for OG just because of the carry-to-carry matchup. But if this Void Spirit is actually going to get big enough that he can be on even footing with what Invoker does late game, then this is going to look really nice.
Yeah. It's Witchblade versus Echo Saber. Those are, I think, the items that you're comparing in this spot. Witchblade, no strength and arm, but has armor, whereas the Echo Saber with the passive mana regen, I think is the direction he's going for. It's also technically more burst, or at least comparable burst to the Witchblade. We'll see. I don't know about the death though, but I'm with you on the Echo.
OG doing a good job of just re-pushing down the mid lane. There's no reason to slow things down. They are going to be able to get the call kick off onto No Tail, looks like. Takes a little bit longer than expected, but ultimately the Culling Blade is there. OG, you could see Sumail. He is not scared at all of Nigma.
I love Sumail's item build here. The Crystallis is still one of the most damage efficient items in terms of what you get for the gold spent.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And he's already level 15. I mean, this is what I expected Nigma to be doing to OG's map, but instead it's OG just getting super active behind their very fat Medusa. And I don't see a point where ILTW is going to be able to get involved here. Like, even Manta is not going to be enough. He'll need like that next item, whether it's Abyssal or Scotty. And OG, they're just gonna push with the Ruthless ready. How do you stop them?
See if he can jump away with the Astral Step. Another one? No. Thompson comes in with a huge amount of damage. Soxa also managed to get a spike carapace on that Astral Step hit.
Yep.
So
that was a double step.
Boy, they're going to try and pull up Thompson as quick as possible. It is not quite enough of the Golem is there. They finally get him. Culling Blade still in the back pocket of Mind Control if they can bring somebody else a little bit low, but Sumail is working them all back with the Stone King. Two support team inside. ILTW gets an opportunity to pull up Sumail. Bye-bye mana, bye-bye carry. OG just not expecting this resilient of Enigma underneath their tier 2 towers. Overstepping themselves a bit and losing a very, very bad team fight. I mean, they were up by a good amount of net worth and experience, and that all just goes away off of one team.
Yeah, they had a great ward behind tower too, but just get caught sleeping. Great initiation there from Mind Control and excellent usage. So you're gonna see the Manta had just been delivered, and ILTW needs it to be able to finish off that kill. The Golem near flawlessly preventing the dissimulate escape from Thompson.
Has everything Axe desire.
But I mean, Sumail's just like chasing against GH, but that is no man's land. He 100% should have gotten out of dodge. You're gonna see an enormous mana void. There's the AM versus Dusa counter. just a very odd team fight from OG, banking too much on the Echo Saber for Thompson's survivability.
And it's amazing how apparently Dota Plus, the win probability, it was down to 75% at around 15 minutes, and just that one team fight has evened out the game. So apparently, that bit of gold and experience gained and lost is apparently a huge factor when it comes to these two matchups. Like, is that about the Animage versus Medusa matchup? Like, why does that fluctuate so heavily?
Oh, it's the map control, I think, primarily. But yeah, I am suddenly taking top net worth.
Jumping onto the Nyx. He managed to get off Spike Carapace, though, so that actually stops the damage of the Sunstrike. He's still very likely to die unless he's not afraid at all. Runs back in with the Vendetta. EMP, another round of Spike Carapace. They managed to catch Miracle here with Thompson, but he doesn't really have the backup of the rest of OG, so doesn't overcommit whatsoever. Nigma just equally going to back away. Looks like Kuro already, by the way, very farmed. Holy Locket and has a shard, so look for Nigma to be constantly full HP.
That is a very nice combination. You know what? He must have been watching Siraction slacks. He posted recently, Warlock is free MMR until the new patch. So Kuro definitely learning from that second place TI runner-up back at TI6. The thing about the big switch after that fight, if you look at the map, OG invested so many sentries into enemy jungle, and that lost fight means they lose map control, and their Deuce is no longer strong enough to just kind of sit in front line for them. If they don't take that fight, they're going to just control this area indefinitely until they can inevitably move into Roche. Instead, it's Team Nigma now, with Golem back up, that have total control of the necessary area. Very tough now for OG.
They've got the combo that we've been kind of waiting for. They've got Aghanim Scepter. They don't have maxed out Exort, but it's still going to do a metric shit ton of damage.
No Force Staffs. No Force Staffs on OG.
The call misses. Seb able to back away fast enough, and he can get off his ultimate mind control. His life is going to be forfeit here. Nigma, they're going to try and retreat, but Thompson's already taking advantage of this, trying to catch some of these heroes. Animage is hunting Thompson right now, but ILTW unable to spot him just yet. Miracle's going to get pulled back. ILTW trying to find a way into this one. The Cataclysm going out, not really doing a whole lot of damage here. Miracle dies to the Vendetta hit. ILTW's realizing that he cannot fight into this OG 5-man. With initiation from mind control. We set that all up, Kyle. We're talking about, there it is, the call Cataclysm, what this lineup's all about, and they just whiff it.
Really, really unlucky on that initiation from mind control. He was going for the Brewmaster, and very unfortunately, he missed the call. If he lands that, they're likely going to all in and just explode him, because as stated, no Force Staffs, but you'll see here, the Blink, just, again, unlucky. Off to the side, and at that point, you're just dead on your axe. The split is going to be popped because all Sep needs is a team fight, and he's ready to go brew for him. Now has the Aghanims up, so they'll always have one ready.
Oh, this gets mind control getting caught again. Saksa managed to find the opening here onto Nigma. They spot mind control trying to play around the ILTW jumping in and immediately blowing up Thompson. Now the supports are low as well. Fortunately, the Storm Panda will get ILTW out of this fight, but the rest of Nigma can still get the jump. Tornado catching Saksa. Well, this group is just doing a lot of damage, but at the same time, Samael is losing much of his mana here on his first life. Still, though, the damage being pumped out by him. The turnaround stolen from GH. Managed to get the Brewmaster split, keeping himself alive and throwing some nice disables out. Saksa looks to be able to kill GH, though. 3 more seconds. Can he get away? He's going to turn back on a Rubik Farm, though, and I think he's likely dead. He's going to be able to find any sort of escape mechanism out of that one. OG off of that Roshan. It forced the team fight. I think it went relatively okay for them.
It could have been much worse. Shout out GH. He went for the big brain play. He threw up the stun on the Earth Panda as he was coming back. I think a Fade may have been able to kill off Saksa, but he did a nice job of juking him and getting the fog off. W just controlled completely by Seb in that last team fight. Cyclone twice. And if the primary damage dealer, to compare the networks, ILTW up in the air, that's like 50% or more of his team's damage. So really nice job by Panda.
Man, does that talent just suck? Even for the Mana Void stun, plus 1 second rather than the damage multiplier. Maybe 0.1 is pretty garbage.
Yeah, if we check out our advanced stats, looks like you're onto something.
rate a little bit higher for the stun time. It's just so weird because like Medusa is just a man on hog.
Dire are scanning.
1,700 mana on her. If you manage to burn through that, pop the it's gonna be just a game to nuke. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta watch for mind control here. Oh, no,
Yeah, he was trying to get a really nice deep ward out, but sadly, getting spotted in the act worst thing. You know, if you get spotted 2 seconds before, you're like, oh, that's fine. But you threw the ward down, it just
Radiant's
very
bottom
unlucky
tower
that he
is under
wandered off
attack.
by himself. Will die and
Radiant
the ward.
structures are fortified.
Get the tier 2 though. That would be very hype. Gives him
Scepter
outpost.
Nix's acid. They actually blow up his acid. Scepter, they do the goes mind control, initiating onto Samael, but he got an ace. This is not a good jump for them, especially with the Nix's ass sitting forward like this. The Strike Cataclysm doing a lot of damage, and that is going to be enough to manage to get a kill on this. That Miracle's going to be next. Seb giving up on that chase. He's able to blink away the upheaval to slow down most of the OGs. They're not able to retreat as quickly as they would like to. And they use the golem available if they want to keep going. At the same time, Seb does have another round of the primal split in just 10 seconds. You get the ITW and get away from this. But at the same time, GH get a little bit too far forward. No tail, nice blast coming in. The animate is going to be caught by that one into the blink away, though. He should be fine. They're going to retake that post to make sure that Soxa can rejoin him.
Yep. Get outpost control as soon as you possibly can. Definitely looking for OG, considering that their brew is going to continue to scale thanks to the passive income of the Midas. Agonist, Earth Panda will carry the Vladzor into the battle. Solar Crest, a big fan. I think you might want to reconsider for an Assault Cuirass just because you can't activate Solar, and with the Aghanim, he'll almost always be in Panda form. You know, just gonna push. Minute on Aegis, why not? Already with the Butterfly and no MKB in sight, the AM. MC,
Control. Oh dear, what is going on with MC today? These blinks are not good at all. Thompson, you go for killing a GHA, stolen simulate. Managed to get him out of that fatal bonds. Golem drop. Thompson, a little bit more damage onto him. ILTW, he's into the back line. Awesome. One hit and solid types. ILTW is going to have to pop his Manta here. He can still go for no kill if he wants to. Be careful of getting chain stuck up here. One more second until the blink. He's out. With Thompson down and the age is soon to expire, I think Nigma would like to be able to catch OG as they start backing away.
Mind control had got a grab a glass of water or something before he respawns. Maybe
Samael, he's not pushing feet out, and nobody's really sticking by. The Nix's ass could go down beautiful. He's actually gonna die to this. The Aqua's coming in. ILTW is away just in time. One more second of disable, and ILTW would have also died. I thought OG was not actually ready for that, but I was totally wrong. OG with just a beautiful turnaround, all thanks to Soxa and his Agonist.
it's a dream for OG. If you pursue them into Stone Gaze with Nyx Assassin prepared, I mean, how many games we've been watching StarCraft since 1990? Lurkers are very troubling, and Soxa plays his role perfectly. Great stun.
It's time to go, but the stun immediately coming out on ILTW. That's going to see Samael so much damage. He's hit by the Aghanim Scepter Mystic Snake, and that keeps him from being able to blink away. Survive, but without carry for 80 seconds, OG should be able to take most of this. Unfortunately, tier 2s are still up. So if they want to go for throne, they're going to have to kill more members here. Once again.
Can't believe he's still Stone Gaze earlier too. Just died before it could give the effect. That really shouldn't be something that happens either. And now a Daedalus finished on Samael. He is enormous. Is level 23, so he's got the talent to go with his Dragon and Solar now for Seb. So they're just gonna follow Samael all the way to victory if this keeps up. A blink on MT, but more importantly, he's got to start landing some calls. OG just playing with them. Still no force staffs. Any big axe initiation still will guaranteed land 2 Sunstrikes at the top of the target. You can see they get the lift, but ILTW is not there, so he doesn't get any of those hits off. and then Fox is going to come through with an enormous impale stun on everybody, and that gives Sumail time to get stone get off. Otherwise, this fight maybe doesn't go so well, but it did.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's just been an amazing player for OG throughout the season and shines once again in this combination match. OG up 11,000 net worth and looking to be able to close out. They do have Roche on the worry about, so they're certainly not going to be going high ground yet. Is there anything that Nigma can pick up that would turn this game around for them? DKB for control and DKB for W. Hell. Just feels like this is not going to be enough.
No, it does not, and it kind of just goes back to the game plan. Our expectations were totally off, and feels like Team Nigma, even though they came ahead in the laning phase, I really like their earlier rotations. They were content to just give OG their side of the map. Sumail felt absolutely zero pressure outside of the one movement up to his lane, but once he went woods, easy street. I point again to that ancient camp being reserved for 15 minutes until the AM was ready to take it. I want to
out the build from Thompson. He actually got the right neutral item too.
Oh wow, yeah.
So he's got the Orb of Destruction, another, so he's going like minus 14 armor or something like that between all three of those minus armor things, plus he's slowing them down with both the Echo Saber and the, again, the Orb of Corrosion. So all of this is just lining up so the Medusa can out even more damage.
Push high ground. This is an unkillable Deuce at this point unless they can get an incredible combination off. I like what Thompson did there. He actually, on the last fight, he astral forward to share stun strike damage with Sumail, who had got called. You really just can't lose this if you just don't let your Deuce die.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Pop the primal split just to Nigma does not feel good about taking this fight. The Ice Blast did hit the axe, so he's not going to be able to blink and initiate. GH is going to do it for him as he turns into the primal split. TW trying to proud the man up. Sumail does manage to do so and pull him up of Van Void. You have to remember this combination, this counter is available throughout the game, and they have to protect Sumail at all costs. And as soon as he's gone, the team fight's just done and dusted. TW and the rest of Nigma are just going to grab whatever heroes they can here. Seb, I think he got the Storm Panda. As long as one of the pandas gets out, he should be okay. It looks like it's going to be fire.
Team Nigma, I think it must be Team Jacob, because these guys are the most... Oh, what?
I told you, Kyle. Told you. I've seen so many people do this. They don't hit the button. You have to hit the button. Otherwise, you're going back to the other panda.
What? And the Roche is up. So, wait. How is it they go 4 or 5 straight team fights with optimal initiation, and then when it counts, Nigma press all of the buttons perfectly and 100-0 Sumail? Like, this team is insane. And when they're off, sometimes they're just lost. But somehow they've now clawed their way back in. A little bit of equalization with the Aegis and the Shard. Who took Shard? Give to A.
The Age did.
Oh my god,
so now he's got that the cooldown reduction on Flame, and then on top of that, he's gonna have level 25 soon. So look for. I'm not actually sure which one you go for here. Either way, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As he's gonna have level 25 in a second here. Level 20 also picked up on the Invoke first, so the Alacrity Animate is huge. OG, see if they can now perform as they've lost the map control and look to be able to defend.
Well, you've seen the strategy for Nigma. It's going to be blow up Sumail and maybe, yeah, okay, we got one. Doxa for a staff, so they shouldn't allow that to happen again. But they may need to do a better job of just ensuring they don't get the perfect initiation off, because you can play confident if the axe is off the map. They don't really have any catch without MC landing up the call, but they need to ensure he's either cycloned or AA debuffed, something to prevent that picture perfect initiation. But it is getting
what I
scary.
want to see is Soxa use that force staff and then go for his siege on the ground, have him burrow, and then force staff on top of the Medusa. So they have both Impale as well as Spike Carapace to be able to use if they just want some.
An interesting idea, Cat.
Seriously,
It could
AoE
work.
Spike Carapace is really legit.
No, I agree. They're not in base, so Nigma, they're gonna pressure a little bit. You can see the link is coming out on Sumail, but there's so many methods of canceling. I'm not sure if it's really the move here.
Tornado through, doesn't hit anything. Sox continuing to find burrow opportunities, and Nigma apparently not feeling the greatest about going for this one. They do have a number of items coming in soon. They just finished up the MKB for the Anti-Mage, but Mind Control and Kuro are both looking GA.
Yeah, the pressure on Miracle is going to be the big timing. Thompson, does he have BKB yet? Yes, he has just completed, but this is the key item. I'm just not sure if they actually have the damage for the Anti-Mage anymore. When you think about it, it's going to really be Soxa who's going to have to step up big for his squad. He's played near perfectly, but he is really the only stuns they've got in terms of setup.
Oh, ILTW is just blindly blinking in. Having the confidence of both the BKB and the Aegis, and he may end up spoiling OG in their smoking right now. The smoke breaks. ILTW spotted for a second there. That's a hefty amount of damage that just came out, Kyle. Randomly, he got cold snap to now. Sumail is going to be able to. Oh, telekinesis. Never mind. That mana voice comes in. ILTW. But he just. I thought he was going to be able to. Me too. Anything off there. He's going to go ahead and just get back here. Soxa and going to have to hold out this team fight. They do manage to bring down ILTW once, but second time unluckily. The rest of OG are playing for the hill right now. You can see Thompson is actually already looking to cut the creep wave. He knows they've got to stall for 70 seconds.
Sumail, I swore he had time to get Stunkies off there. Just didn't realize it. I'm wondering if perhaps instead of the Lincolns and all of these items that aren't BKB, he needed just a BKB. It's queued up now, but it's a little too late. He's dead with no buyback, so likely at least one Rax. But oh no, Thompson, because of that cut mid, they have no wave. They have no wave. They're gonna have to fight back door.
I love it when players have the awareness to be able to go for something like that. Unfortunately, Sad sticks his head out a little bit too far. They may not be able to hit the buildings, but they can kill whatever heroes show their face.
Somewhat unnecessary from Seth there, but it's just, you know, he had buyback. Feels like he used it to help out his team, but yeah, I mean, Mana Void, ineffective targets Spell Immune and Kappa. I really think Spell's gonna need a BKB before OG look to take another fight.
But even just like getting called, if he pops BKB before he gets called, he's not.
Game 2 underway briefly. OG versus Nigma, and I'll be disappointed if it's anything less than a 3-game series. Close out our final game of the night of day 3 here at ESL 1 Summer 2021, powered by Intel. Hope you've been enjoying the broadcast so far. And I've been enjoying this gameplay. That was a fun game to watch. I love seeing Anti-Mage in sparing amounts. Whenever it's an Anti-Mage patch, that's immensely frustrating, but whenever you can see like, oh, there's no stuns in this lineup, oh, there's a lot of Mana Void targets here, that's where I like to see it.
It was good because you had the fact that it had everything, you know? Nigma won the laning phase, OG then had that great rebuttal around Roshan, then they make their own mistake, Nigma capitalizes on that again. That was really hard to say, but yeah, it had a little bit of everything, and it just made me happy to watch.
Historically, that's been, I think, why people enjoy watching European Dota quite a bit, is because it's not necessarily always the cleanest, but it's because of these slip-ups, these mistakes that lead to an exciting game almost always.
That's what people used to say about NA.
I know, exactly.
This is great. Now it's all of us.
But then the problem is
We're all one.
We're all chaos.
they're all one, and it got homogenized in Europe, whereas in NA, it kind of became a little too top-heavy, and the teams that were the best of the best just kept getting better, whereas in Europe, I felt everyone was kind of keeping each other honest.
True. Well, we do have our Crush Gaming in Div 1 NA.
True.
As we saw, ILTW does spam the chat wheel. It's $19.99 in the Steam store for the Gold Supporter Pack.
For like another 2 weeks.
Back to you, Tsunami.
Yeah.
I actually really like the 4 Zoomers one personally. I think Sunsfan did an incredible job.
He takes 100% of the profits of that.
Anyways, yeah, so Nigma taking 100% of the Invoker, because once an hero is picked, team can't pick it. OG take the Axe and Mirana themselves.
And destroy an Enchantress, and they pick up a Timber Saw instead.
Okay. This is an interesting matchup because we saw in the Animajor, and this is something it's been this way for quite some time, but I wasn't sure with the nerfs to Axe's Spin if this was still true, but Axe lanes really well versus the Timber Saw because you get a Vanguard, you can very easily just heal through his Whirling Deaths, and you're going to outfarm him, and that pure damage means that it's not so easy for Timber to stand toe-to-toe, but it is one of those ones where you're like on a cliff's edge where if Timber does get like an early wave over the Axe, he can completely snowball. It works both ways though, but I think it slightly favors the Axe.
Yeah, but that's in the scenario where it's like OG's playing offlane Axe and Nigma are tri-laning with a safe lane Timbersaw, right?
Or carry. I mean, there could be some carry Axe scenario here. I could see, you know, Stog picking it up, of course.
I think Female most likely will be playing a bit more of a traditional character. I'd hope to see him play that, and then have the Axe just play it offlane. You know, Seb Axe, come on, guys.
I mean, you say traditional, but Leshrax and these other more magic damage oriented carries, the Nature's Prophet, I guess, kind of also a little hybridy.
I'm loading up the Pro Tracker, guys. I'm loading up the Pro Tracker.
You said that it was calibrating. How did you feel about the calibration of Medusa in the hands of OG and Sumail?
It was honestly close to victory. You know, they're able to capitalize on some Enigma slip-ups, but they just made that one critical tier 3 siege top mistake. You know, Seb not jumping to the correct through, giving away the Roshan. Realistically, it was probably the Death 4. Seb made that mistake, but it's kind of the big picture stuff where it was their game to lose with one more decisive push. They make that mistake, they overplay their hand, then they lose the game. But,
yeah, that's the problem with the Dusa versus Anti-Mage match, especially with how Nigma played the fights. Like, they just played flawlessly. If these guys came in today on less sleep, they legitimately would not have won that game because it was just picture perfect execution in the fights. And that's always difficult to go up against when you're against one of the best Invoker players on the planet, if not the best.
I just love the respect that these captains have for each other. You know, look at this Pugna ban. Pugna's like literally just an untouched hero at the major, I believe, right? If it was touches, a couple picks, couple bans, but yeah, against Thompson, especially with this Invoker, the amount of spells he's spamming, I kind of, I respect this second phase Pugna ban for sure.
God knows Thompson will play it, even if it's not a Pug patch. It's one of his favorite guys.
Yep. Terrain, Glimmer Cape, get tanky quite quick.
Love his just Veil Rush pre-boots. And then everybody was doing it because Pugna's a speedy guy already, and you don't need boots if you're just standing in front of a tower blasting it nonstop. Thompson really thinks about Dota and in just such a weird way, but it's good.
And a Baden ban as well. Like some of these, the second phase bans really must be kind of a layer deeper. Maybe even using some kind of scrim information right now because. And
also the ABBA is just destroys Axe and lane.
And the actually, you're right saying it's Mirana. Yeah. Of course.
It's pretty nice, pretty solid. As well as like with these two heroes, Invoker, Timbersaw, you don't really need a 5 that's that active. A 4 probably, but a 5 maybe not so much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm trying to think back to the original parallels. Like we had said at the beginning of this series, Mind Control in his interview was like, oh, you know, it's interesting they have a mid laner now playing the carry position, but Nigma, formerly Liquid, also had that with Weeha stepping into the mid role, Miracle moving to carry role, but I don't really think that there was ever a similar calibration period for Miracle.
That is interesting that you point that out. Maybe there's some sort of they had some discussion about how that's not such a good thing to have two mid laners.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they identified as this was a problem for them and kind of projecting that onto OG, and whether it's true or not, who's to say? I mean, this is crazy high level shit.
The main thing for OG is when they were missing Ana and trying to find that replacement, they were always lacking Ana, that hard farmer who could play behind the chaos of OG's 4. And I think that's where...
I mean, they did have ILTW for a little bit also.
No, exactly. And then, of course...
Everybody's bouncing around.
Everyone's... And then, then Ana comes back, and of course, then that recipe doesn't really work out. So I think that's where OG really are just kind of still in that kind of calibration phase, and then this is the tournament where they will kind of have to find some official matches, because we mentioned it so much at the major where teams that are scrimming, you aren't learning as much as teams playing officials, because a scrim, your opponent might be playing at 75%. They're learning some stuff themselves. But in official, everyone's playing at like 120%. They're playing for their tournament lives,
Right.
and that's where you learn so much more.
It is difficult to replicate that environment. Like no matter how different you think your brain is or whatever, you're never going to be able to do that. If you think that you can, it's just that you think you can. You're not going to do it. Like a real pressure situation is so much different.
So many players that I've spoken to, and I'll ask them like what the most stressful matches of their lives, their careers have been. Very few of them ever say TI games. A lot of them all get like, oh, it was the Summit 4. I remember it was like lower bracket elimination or something like that. So these types of mentalities can hit you differently at different stages. And both these teams are known to be LAN performers, and they kind of relish the opportunity to be in a high pressure situation.
We get to see the Hoodwink, most likely. I would assume Thompson, yeah. Because the Mirana's already locked in for Satsuka, playing with the Axe in the off lane, and then Hoodwink being the mid. Unless in some shenanigans where maybe it just goes to a 5 Hoodwink. Yeah, we might get to see this infamous mid Hoodwink.
I hope so. I've yet to see it in an actual competitive match.
So just to keep everyone aware, the build is for him, it's like Boots, Bottle, Wraithband into Treads, Maelstrom, and then he's going Ags into Light Pit.
I heard that one time he just outright skipped Boots and went Scepter Rush.
Oof.
The old one-shot build. That's
With the Echo Saber, to be fair, on Voice Spirit, in some of the first games that he played in ESL Summer, he just went straight Echo Saber, then bought Boots after.
I see. In this game, I'm curious, so for the new viewers, explain what Hunter's Mark does on Hoodwink.
Is that me?
That's you, Jenkins.
Okay. It reduces status resistance, and it reduces, I believe it increases spell damage on the target. 25%, something like that on both, I think. And I mean, I don't think it stacks with itself, does it?
No, I don't. Well, I also don't think that the cooldown.
The cooldown is right. The cooldown.
Yeah, I don't know how long the duration is. Although T is
7 seconds.
7-second duration.
Okay, you Googled.
And it's what 15% status resistance, 25%
for both. 25
for both.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a veil in terms of spell damage amplification, because it works on not just magic but pure and physical as well. And status resistance, I guess. There are no more status resistance affecting spells anymore, right? It used to be Enfeeble.
Yeah, Enfeeble's regen reduction.
Yeah.
Right, and casting animation.
Cast point reduction.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy janky thing to throw in the game.
It is. It's.
But anyway, OG, they pick up the Oracle. Of course, ET in the lane. You can now perch it off. Nigma instantly go for a Luna. Because Luna for Nigma has always been the counter to the Axes, the Timber Saws, these more kind of beefier off lanes, because Luna +1, you can always out-bully the ranged 4 that's trying to play with that beefier hero.
I also think that for Nigma, looking at Nigma's draft, like, if you're looking at OG, there's 0 tower push right now.
Yeah.
So you know that with a Luna, you can hit that 20-minute timing and farm those ancient stacks. It's very unlikely that you're going to lose that map control where you can just farm up these huge stacks on her. And there's not much to deal with the Timber Saw other than the break. If this is a Thompson Hoodwink and he makes some good rotations, I think that probably would be better to deal with the Timber rather than a Hoodwink on some other position, although I say that and that would mean 3 support. So this looks like it is a Hoodwink.
No, it is exactly.
T, if the Oracle is being picked up to purge off the Elder Titan buff, why would they go for the Oracle as opposed to the Enchantress, which has been way more popular throughout the course?
Yeah, shockingly, that's not banned.
I think it's just a creature comfort for NoTel, and they needed some way to, I think, prop up this carry, right? They've got a lot of independent cores right now, where we see like Axe will go for Blink Dagger and play with the Mirana. Hoodwink's going to connect in that lane. This carry right now in OG's lineup is going to be isolated by himself, and I think that's why the Oracle pick just gives you a little bit more ability to play that lane out. Maybe could even be like a Troll Warlord, for example.
If there's any Huskar potential lingering here? Oh.
I really hope not. They need a carry.
They need a carry.
I like the Lush ban from Nigma because
that's true.
One of the cool things, number one, we already talked about it, they need tower push on OG, and one of the cool things with having an Axe on your team is that even if it's played in the offlane, you can still build into that Manta style and scale. So if you pick a hero that's also like a semi-carry like Leshrac, it's never like, oh, thank goodness, we can win the late game. Like, no, you can't. Not against this Axe hero. He's legitimately beast mode in the late game if you do go for that build.
They leave the Nature's Prophet in the pool if OG feel like that wants to be their pushing carry. And Nigma, on the other hand, I guess they're looking for another support to pair up with the ET.
5 seconds.
I think if Nigma don't pick another aggressive support, OG might even try and be greedier and go for like the Spectre. Okay, they pick. Okay, this is nice.
Oh, that is maximum aggression.
It gives them the push. It gives, yeah, because I think right now, if OG was to pick like a Spectre that we've seen as a game counter to the Timbersaw, then any type of tower push will completely mitigate that type of pick. It does allow Spectre to have an easier late game if they still go for that, but right now, OG needs an answer because they don't have that cheap wave clear outside of Hoodwink to defend your towers. Like, you have no tower defender right now in their lineup. So a lot of emphasis on this final pick, and they go for a Drow. Ooh, okay. So their answer to this from OG is, we cannot pick a single hero that can stand in front of our towers and defend them. So instead, we're going to put so much emphasis on winning our lanes that we don't have to ever defend a tower because we're the aggressors. And that's kind of OG's response. It's
Am I smoking tangos here, or is this just the freest Timbersaw game ever? Other than the Hoodwink, like, I think if Thompson doesn't pop off and have a really good game, I don't see exactly how they kill a Timbersaw. And I suppose the Drow Frostbite thing, but it's still a hero that plays with so much hypothermia. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess the Drow Silence as well. They have soft disables, but they have to chain react them pretty well. Like Bushwhack, Arrow, Call, the Oracle Root, and then Drow Ranger Silence. It's nothing really reliable.
True. Yeah. So
I just love how exciting these drafts are for the way in which OG needs to play off of their aggression and kind of synergy within the team. Whilst Nigma is kind of that slow burner. Timbersaw will be able to do something in laning phase, maybe not against the Drow. The Invoker will always be able to create that chaos, and then the simplicity of push comes with the Shaman. So it's like Nigma just need to play their game, whilst OG needs to find some like amazing entry to a fight to kind of break down the ranks. So
you know what? If there's anybody that could do it, it's Thompson on Hoodwink. That's the thing. He can make things happen.
Yeah, but we saw some Thompson Hoodwink during the DPC. It didn't really convince me.
Okay, I didn't see that game.
It's OG v Nigma. You know, the quality of their team fights are amazing. Let's hopefully see some of that. Yes.
I can't hope for anything else other than that. Yes, that's right. Game number 2 is ready. Take it away to our capitalist and Kyle.
Thank you, Tsunami. That's right. I'm pretty excited about this game, too, because no matter what happens here for OG, at least I get to watch in action. I haven't been able to cast one of them. I've only seen them in pubs or maybe the occasional official, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm very excited, too.
You don't sound excited.
Do
you not believe in core Hoodwink?
Not a huge believer. I've seen Thompson fool around with it in pubs, like you said, but
You stop dying out of tips.
it feels like a meme, Cap. When I see him play it, and the thing is, I will say, I remember talking with Moon Meander shortly after being kicked. We were talking about building a team. We were actually thinking about Thompson, thinking about Anna, specifically those two. And I watched Thompson play on his stream. I watched him his replays, and I said, legit, verbatim to Moon Meander, we can't play with this guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's only playing meme heroes. Then he won 2 TIs. So
I'm just gonna buy back.
I don't know, Cap.
Holy
We'll have to
shit.
find out.
Dude, that curse has been around for years. Holy crap, you weren't even talent. And
The
it
battle
worked.
begins.
I made a lot of, poor decisions as a talent scout.
GH is probably gonna die here.
You
and
deserve
and
nothing.
the last hit is gonna be there. OG this time around gets the first blood on Note.
I was legitimately talking with Anna on like Facebook Messenger and just didn't pursue him. Ended up going the caster life. But there's a universe where I pick up Anna and Thompson, and then we go to the TI qualifiers and lose, and history changes.
You just ruined 2 young players' careers. They could have been 2-time TI winners. Instead, they immediately retire after losing qualifiers with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Either way, I want to put the Drow. This is, I think, the best pick against Luna. You ignore base armor with marksmanship rocks. So it kind of removes Butterfly in a way as a win for Team Nigma. To an extent against a Timbersaw who's going to get a ton of plus armor. But once again, it's Team Nigma with the alacrity to be worried. Luna can get out of control real quick and then they're just in structures.
I've been seeing this Hoodwink picked up a lot against Versa, and I have not been. I mean, like every single time, just like support Hoodwink just doesn't do enough. Plus, you're being countered half the time. On point, IFTW is going to fall 2-0 already for OG as Saksa continues to be on point. He did a great job of fixing game, even Hero snap already, securing 2 kills for OG. This man's a monster.
He's been one of the more I mean, I feel like what's crazy is think about the pedigree of a lot of these players. From watching them over the last few weeks, it really feels like Saksa, the only player on OG without a TI win, is the most consistent, like by far. And I think the same goes for Team Nigma without TW.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says a lot when, you know, Jarek's does this whole thing where he kind of comes back. I did not see like a mask. Well, of course, there was people in comments, you know, like, oh, Sucks is getting replaced and stuff, but I didn't see a fan base just clamoring to replace Sucks. He has been performing so well.
I mean, the fan base is with a couple of players. It should say something about how well he's playing. That it's not him who's receiving that criticism. He goes for LTW. Okay, god damn it, dude. What a cap.
Listen, I'm not gonna take any responsibility. This is your curse.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. Just start praising buddy, and they immediately pee. I can't do anything about it.
You know, maybe he just wanted to refill Top's bottle, because right now, Miracle is being really messed up by Thompson's mid lane. Hoodwink. Look at this guy. Like, Miracle, he managed to cut down the tree. That's he done there. But still, 19-6 compared to 6-1. This is insane.
He was not ready for the Acorn shot pressure, and also incredible attack animation for the Hoodwink.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You mean the projectile? I would say the animation. But I will agree that the projectile is super cool.
It's like into the arrow.
Nasty. Bottom lane there turns down to Mail. Tim Chain does finish him off. No tail, just shy of having enough damage on the Purifying Flames to be able to kill Mind Control. So he's just gonna have to. We gotta see that replay again. The Thompson pick up, refilling the bottle should be.
This is my shout.
Let's watch
Radiant's
that one
middle
again.
tower is under
Miracle,
attack.
can he get chased away? Long range bushwhack pulls
Into
him
the arrow.
into the arrow.
Wow. That was cool.
In deep here, arrow is gonna land again on LTW. If he gets 86 here, this is just a dead carry. How is he not spinning? Okay, and he gets the kill. Yes, no spins required. He gets the kill, and to me, at least he gets the experience for that full reset.
I think this game was it Seb on the axe in that series against VP went for Earn, because this game he's allowed to do it. Big fan of the action. And now with already a couple of charges, he can continue to play very active. I mean, you said OG just dominating the laning phase. Bottom lane is a disaster as well. Yeah, the drama have died. 22-17. Crow's only level 2.
Yeah, seriously. You get over 1K net in the first 5 minutes, usually things are happening. But Nigma does have a chance to be able to call goes first though, and Zeb managed to bring down GH with the help of Saksa and might be able to save. Never mind. That is a level 2 Lucent. Blew him up. But once again, a trade-off. This time though, to the favor of Nigma.
See, the thing about Hoodwink, from what I've seen, Hero can be very dominant throughout the mid game, and then late game, it's very feast or famine. You know, Thompson, you'll have incredible bursts at all phases, but it's certainly a squishy hero, and the builds I've seen him go are very damage oriented.
No tail. Caught out by the rotation of GH. You know, sometimes the lane shows up, and if the support dies, that's okay. As long as Sumail is still able to keep farming, it's all good.
Noticing someone blue.
Nice pushback does manage. Oh, drops one a little bit too early there. Thompson threw down the sharpshooter for almost half a beat
Radiant
there
are
and
scanning.
did hardly any damage. GH does manage to survive in what should have been a guaranteed kill.
That's Thompson's trying to get elected, but nice ward from Nigma there on the high ground. They're gonna spot out these
Radiant's middle
movements because
tower is under
if he
attack.
does end up getting behind the Timbersaw bottom, especially because his ultimate does apply the break, it's pretty much just 100% dead MC. They're gonna need an earlier Lotus Orb than usual, just to cleanse off the hooding break applied from the ultimate. It's very Luna as well.
Okay, so interesting story. We're going to watch this replay. I saw this recently. You can actually charge up sharpshooter and throw your other abilities out. So surprisingly, Thompson, who's like a hoodwink master, I feel like kind of made a mistake in not charging up the ultimate and then throwing out an acorn shot. Nice shackles for Curl coming in from behind, but they actually can't do anything. They go, TPs are coming in. Thompson got out Curl. Arrow, and they might be able to get a little bit more. Saksa not throwing it out though. The rest of Nigma is here. And as they lose their captain, still looking for a bit of aggression. Thompson sitting in the trees, waiting for an opportunity. Swag onto ILTW with the arrow follow-up, as well as the sharpshooter. He's trying to bounce back to the other side of the trees, almost killing ILTW. Not quite enough with the nuke coming in from the Oracle. Saksa trying to run away from GH. GH finds him in the trees, but the bushwhack. Wait, what? How did he get it head off? I thought he was stunned.
What?
No, I happened. Kyle.
What happened?
He was bushwhacked. The silence pushed him, and I cut down the tree, allowing him to get off an auto attack.
We're gonna run it back.
Dude, I hate that bushwhack works that way, man.
Hit him
Okay,
once.
one hit. Bushwhack grabs him. The tree.
You
All right, that's an interaction right there.
All right, let's head back into the game as we're gonna watch Stab being run down as the axe right now. Tornado not quite clipping No Tail. And looks like maybe a bit shy of Thompson putting himself forward. Nice two-man bushwhack into the Collis. A huge wombo combo from D that should have got 2 kills, and he does. Sharpshooter on point, miracle die.
Dude, that keeps charging through the sleep.
Yes, you can be stunned and it just keeps on charging up. You can't change the direction it fires. It'll actually go off by itself. You reach down to the end of the timer.
Okay, well, off to a great start, OG. Check out the net worths. They are coming back with a vengeance. A much more aggressive game than the previous, and I think a lot more suited to OG as they continue to have kill threat. I feel like that was a big part of their game plan that was missing in the previous. It was really just a Nyx assassin that was capable of getting anything done. Team Nigma, do they have any ancient stacks up? Does not look like it. Just a single. That's not going to be enough to really get ILTW into a position where he's capable of winning this game. Miracle, once again, going to go for the Midas. But their draft kind of needs a lead. They can crush through creep waves, but it's necessary that they can actually play the map for that to happen. Right now, Seb's axe is closing on a blip dagger, already 1,000 gold away, only 10 minutes in.
No Tail fishing for his level 6. He's gonna stick around the mid lane until he that as an option for the next team fight. As you said, OG up by a decent amount of net worth off of a set laning phase, and Nick needs to be able to find a way to turn this game around. You do kind of need the momentum on their side. Once again, it's a carry versus carry matchup. This time it's Nigma who are on the side of needing to be able to have momentum in this game. Otherwise, Drow is just going to crush this loop.
This might help. Oh no.
Well, the tornado missing on Thompson. The Moonlight Channel might just be able to help him live. They do have a stomp going off. He's actually hit him. They're going to start back away here. And if they have been broken apart, set missing the call, but it doesn't matter. They're going to get the kill on the GH. So
Yeah, really
does not work for Nick.
unlucky from Miracle there. He meant to tornado the Drow Ranger. Unfortunately, just a bit off. Like TP into MC.
Arrow to follow it up. Need a little bit more damage though. This guy is a bit too tanky. It's like he doesn't even have that's just a rain drop. He doesn't even have a cloak yet.
I thought he was going to take significantly more damage from that cap. Burrow? Wards?
Yeah, Fortune's in, slowing him down. Seb not able to get close enough for the call, so give up on that tower a bit.
But there, because they already blocked the Ancients as well. I love that decision, or rather just put a ward to scout him out. So OG, they're going to have really nice vision now to be able to try and control ILTW's triangles. If they can collapse on mid tower, that's going to be their big move, but I expect they're waiting for the blink on Axe to do so. Step only 300 gold off. They'll be very close after this wave. And then ideal time to go for a smoke move. If you get mid tower, suddenly the map is yours. You can see No Tails hold on to it with his ult prepared. They actually have some real save this game. They would have loved to have an Oracle in that previous game that's pushed up 100-0 multiple times in a row.
I'm not opposed to taking the occasional bounty.
Watching Thompson farm some creeps. He go for his what at this point feels a little bit patented. Maelstrom into Ags into Gleipnir. He did not do this the only game that he's played in official, which was against Nigma in the second season of the DPC. Game 1, they played Core Hoodway, and he ended up going a Yule Cell, which was pretty odd. Did not work for them. They obviously lost that series 2-0, but OG looking to get a bit of revenge here and
Certainly love some. Trying to see who is gonna make the next move. It really cannot be Team Nigma. In a perfect world, Timbersaw's pressuring bottom, Perky hits 6, and they'll immediately be able to drop wards somewhere, but just not the style of game plan. MC, instead of pressuring, is now just trying to keep his tower alive, and here comes that smoke move we've been waiting for. Saksa, he's gonna TP in, and here it comes. They have the blink. They want ILTW.
Is a bit more successful than Mind Control in these blink calls. They're going to go through the triangle here, looping back into the off-lane tower area as they do have the vision. They want to get our first. Goes off successfully. Follow it up. They get the space coming in, but they're not going to be able to see this carry fast enough. Calling Blade goes down, but he can't actually run away here. Trying to be saved by the Oracle. By the tornado. Oh, he gets the full promise. Wait, Seb will have a chance to be able to get away. Meanwhile, Saksa and Sunail returning here, putting damage on a GH from behind. Woodwing shows up. And Miracle, he dies. Turtle left for last. Mind Control. Oh, he missed. All those trees, and you missed. Mind Control is now going to die as a result of that. Nigma get wiped in exchange for one hero.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You can tell they expected that movement from OG, but you know, with no real counter initiation, they need an Elder Titan prepared if they're gonna have any hope of saving their Luna. And I get that they want to counteract that play, but you've got to be prepared in advance, Cap. You can't be mass TPing when your hard carry is almost certainly going to die in that initial volley of spells. Call into arrow will be a kill, and you can see the benefits of Oracle. Seb was almost certainly dead for a while, but he's still able to just he absorbs so much damage that OG, they're just killing the Invoke and then cleaning up like uncontested because they're focusing all this damage onto Axe.
Seriously, and the fact that they couldn't even kill that Axe right away really just makes Nigma's initiation in there that much worse. And now OG looking at a 5k net worth lead, and as you were kind of alluding to before, they don't really have playmaking opportunities simply because the lanes just didn't go well enough. They haven't taken any early towers with Timbersaw. Mind Control. I mean, that Timber that's behind feels terrible, right? Especially against this kind of magic damage that comes out from Hoodwink. He's got a hood, and that's it. That's all he has.
And Thompson, I mean, OG have a Hoodwink. Like, that's just better by all counts, and now they're gonna look to collapse on mid tower. If they bring Seb, he's got no TP for 2 seconds, but I'd assume he's gonna join mid shortly. Catapult wave.
Yeah, it's the siege wagon wave, so you want to be able to at least have a presence. Put a little pressure on the enemy. Sox is going to pop the Moonlight Shadow and work his way across here. Spots the high ground wall to start things off. Drop another tree or another ward, rather. Fine. They still have enough control to be able to win this fight. Hobson, turning through the trees, does manage to nice bushwhack to him. Gerald Soxa trying to find the opening, but it's not needed. The sharpshooter does enough damage to be able to bring down Miracle. And now, without their mid laner, another bushwhack. Thompson lands a beauty. Oh, the rest of the team having a hard time getting into this back line. ILTW managed to get off being close, though. Turning around on a Soxa, but Nero goes out. ILTW goes down. Kuro's gonna fall right after him. Enigma losing ground here as Mind Control and GH are looking to be able to hold around this tier 2 tower. Thompson gets low, the pure damage, the Chakram is enough to be able to kill the Hoodwink. Now Mind Control pushes forward. He may have lost this team fight, or Nigma may have lost this team fight, but he is trying to rectify things. Watch that turn around. Seb managing to hold on to GH, leading into the air once again. Mind Control putting out the damage, but he's having a hard time being able to burst down this axe and now has to run away from the rest of OG. As they look to pursue, turn around, go for the back. Not quite good enough. Mind Control. Seb dancing around the opposing laner successfully stays alive, and they win a massive team fight. Hey, let's find another kill. This time, Kuro is not only going to lose his life, but lose the war that he just.
Now, this is when OG looks good, Cap. Just pure chaos. Hoodwink with an arcane rune, just casting spells constantly. Immediately, Miracle. No save on the side of team, so there's literally nothing they can do as OG just cast spells from a volley around the invoker. GH is like trying to stop people, but
they're gonna catch ILTW again. The arrow once again chained constantly. Sox's Marana is such a terror in this game, and it's held by the fact that Dev and Thompson set up these spells every single time. He doesn't need to aim. He's got stunned heroes from a long distance all the time.
I mean, he's just following Thompson, really, and they're making it work. Seth, I think, is initiated less than Hoodwink has. And shout out to Hotel as well. Better performance on Oracle than that previous game. 16, he's been very active, you know. I mean, Soxa too, right? Really, just the support duo. Support duo plus Thompson, really shining.
Male is just having a free game. He just shows up the occasional team fight. He throws out the multi-shot. That is the interesting thing about this lineup, right? It's such long-range distance damage, right? They're just like multi-shot. They throw out the acorn shot, bushwhack, arrow coming out. Like, they can kill heroes without getting near Nigma. They could throw it from like 1,000 range plus.
And it means that Seb is free to kind of be that second or third jump. He doesn't have to be relied upon to find kills, and Thompson's also able to play in these corners. And Team Nigma, another issue is that they don't really have great catch. It's a tornado perhaps from their invoker, or a hex from Kuro, but this is 5-position shaman. He's not had the greatest game, and Hoodwink is running through the trees.
It feels like at this point, Kyle and Nigma have to just play for split push. I mean, I think they're down enough that I don't know if they can win team.
Radiant's bottom tower is falling.
I don't think so either, Captain. This is going to be a free tier 2, no glyph, so outpost control out after the
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Nail is on it. Nigma playing the other side map.
Is under attack.
Aren't able to really do the same and pressure tier 2. Their messages.
But keep in mind, this draft from Team Nigma was supposed to be ahead. We saw something very similar, if not the same exactly, from Team Liquid in that tiebreaker at the Major against Spirit. They were the ones up 8k. They go high ground and get wiped because of the drow damage from afar. This time it's OG's drow with the huge lead. And Nigma are gonna have some serious issues sticking to him. Kuroki is gonna need to get like picture perfect initiations, a stomp onto the back lines, but I worry about their damage output, even about the levels of alacrity. Does ILTW really deal enough damage? And can he deal out of BKB? He's still the full item away.
Radiant structures are fortified.
To add to what you're saying about the fact that Nigma needs to be the one ahead because Bruno does have that late finish. Win probability is up to 94%.
Really?
Yeah. This game is close to being totally over. You could see Nigma not feeling confident about team fight. I'm not confident about, even if they do get that Cataclysm, how do they get that AoE disabled? Look at their heroes. It's entirely up to Miracle to land it all with the tornado, but Miracle may not even get that Magnum Scepter. He's picked up on set.
He has a Manta already. Like, the OG macro that I'm glad to see them go to when they have this huge lead. Because Thompson now doesn't really have to worry about lanes too much because Drow and Axe can take care of it. He's just constantly off map. And I think we brought this up a couple of days ago, but I was talking to Fogged and he immediately watched the replays of the major finals. And he said the big thing he took away, how PSG LGD played the map. They were never showing on Vision. And it just means it's so hard. In this case, it was EG to play Dota. And it's the same here for Team Nigma. Look around the map. They don't have Vision. Top is not showing. So where are you supposed to play Dota? Like, how do you actually venture out onto the map to acquire gold?
And as a result, the map is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Because they can't play out in the side lanes, the creep wave is pushing into them, which allows OG to be able to rotate faster. And ILTW going to show himself here in the bottom lane. A lot of Nigma heroes playing behind him. But OG is beginning to make their way across here. Seb's just going to illusion. It's Miracle with the Ghost Walk is going to get somewhere deep into the jungle, and I'm